Brothers, we're up on our last week of videos. Thank you for journeying in July so far with me. It's been a pleasure to do these videos for the past going on 3 weeks now. I want to build off of last week's video and particularly Friday's video on mission. So we talked about last week relationship, identity, and then mission. And in the mission video, I mentioned man's call to mission, to go out into the world to sanctify the world, and that there were divine and human aspects to this mission. That the divine aspect was really being baptized, that the fact that we were baptized priests, we could sanctify the world. And then the human aspect would have been the means to sanctifying the world, whether that was in the oil field, a mechanic, a teacher, whatever it may be. Today I want to focus more on that. I want to focus on work, how work can be a means to sanctify the world and sanctify ourselves. And so I mentioned it last video, Jesus. Did Jesus have a job? Yes, Jesus was known as the carpenter's son. In scripture, he's called the carpenter's son. That's how people point him out in his hometown. And so we know that Jesus was a small business owner with Joseph. And John Paul II writes that as Joseph brought Jesus into his shop, as he taught him to be a carpenter, he brought work closer to the mystery of redemption. How beautiful is that? The fact that because of the incarnation, work now has meaning. Work can be sanctifying. And the fact that we're baptized into Jesus. We're bearing his image in the workplace. And so our mission, especially when you talk about the divine aspect of our mission, is to bear his image in the workplace, in the ordinary, to consecrate and sanctify the ordinary. You know, the word work, it can also be loosely translated in the word liturgy. And so our liturgy, the way in which we worship, can be seen as work. And this is so important for us to know, because when you look at the Mass and you look at particularly the offertory, you see that in the offertory, when the bread and wine is offered up at the hands of the ministerial priest, we see that not only is that bread and wine being offered up, but everyone in the church, everyone around the world, all of humanity is brought to the altar. All of what we've gathered up throughout the week in our jobs, that's all being brought to the altar. As baptized royal priests, we cooperate, we offer up our very selves at the hands of the ministerial priest who's standing in the person of Christ. And so this idea of bringing something to the altar can be seen, can be used in the workplace. Like we can ask ourselves as we walk into church, what am I bringing to the altar? What material elements have I gathered up as a baptized priest? What have I sanctified? What have I consecrated during the week? Work has such an incredible meaning in our lives. And as baptized priests, we are mediators of meaning. We stand at that threshold between the secular and the sacred. Because in all honesty, the ministerial priests like Father Kyle White, Father Michael Delcom, they're not going to get to certain people in certain areas of society that the laity will get to, that those baptized royal priests are called to be in the darkest corners of society. And you know as well as I do, it is in those workplace environments where Christ needs to be proclaimed most. And this doesn't mean we stand up on our desk and we scream at people, but we know that because work has been sanctified and that we as baptized priests are called to sanctify the very actions of our lives, that we're called to bear his image in the workplace. And so my challenge today, brothers, what's one way you can bear witness to bearing this image and likeness of God in your workplace? Maybe it's putting a crucifix by your desk. Maybe it's simply praying grace before meals, before you eat lunch in the office. Maybe it's something as simple as offering a silent prayer for someone who gets on your nerves. Whatever it is, all of that matters. All of that carries meaning because you have the dignity of being anointed, that out of your baptism, you are called to leave church, to be sent. You know, we say, go forth in the Mass, go forth. We send you out to take all of creation, all that belongs to God, and bring it back to Calvary, bring it back to Mass, bring it back to the altar through your work. And so, brothers, until next time, this is Nick Ware signing off.